As we are growing up, we learn and pick up things from our immediate environment. Of course, it's our family, our parents initially, and then when we gradually grow up, it's our teachers, it's our friends, or neighbors and relatives. We learn and pick up things from our environment. I'll give you an example of food. Something as simple as our food palate, our taste palate. Of course, we eat the kind of food that is available to us in our region or in our country. And it's interesting to notice that we usually tend to like the way a particular food is cooked in our individual homes. Of course, maybe a certain dish is cooked in all the households in your region, in your neighborhood, but you will of course tend to gravitate towards the kind of food that maybe your father or mother cooks at home, your grandmother cooks at home. So something as simple as this, we learn about food, about everything around us from a very initial, from a young age. And if you notice that, you will also tend to cook a particular dish in a way that you had actually seen in your home. That's how you learn things from your family, from your friends, by looking at them, by seeing what they do while preparing a dish. So it's just an example, but we learn things from our immediate environment, and not only about food but about other things as well. So while we are growing up, we learn about a lot of things from our family and friends. We get ideas about certain communities, certain races, certain genders, certain religions, and these may not be based on actual true facts, but what we hear forms concrete ideas in our head. If anything, the past year has taught us that we need to unlearn a lot of things that has been taught to us, that has been ingrained in our brains. Not that everything that we have learned in our past from our parents, from our family, that they are wrong. No, of course not. But there are a lot of things that we need to also unlearn, to learn in new ways, to see the bigger picture. Because we have seen a lot of violence of human beings inflicted on other human beings based on these prejudices, based on these facts, that these things that they think are facts, and that a certain group of people are evil. And these incidences of violence that we humans inflict upon other human beings, the numbers are not actually going down. So what is actually unlearning? The best way to unlearn is to actually educate ourselves. We are actually living in a very divided times when the powerful is only gaining from this separation amongst people. And so it's very important to actually educate ourselves. It is very important for us to learn and educate ourselves with our history, with our present. I have come to realize that it is always the people in power who write the history and the way it should be perceived by the world. The children in Britain do not actually learn about the colonization of the world that Britain has done. Actually, they do learn about colonization, but in a very glamorized way. Children of Britain don't get to learn that the effect of colonization, the impact of colonization that that Britain had on the countries that it had colonized. Children don't get to learn about what actually happened to the people of the colonized countries, how Britain has actually stolen and taken all the natural and other resources from the countries and left them dry of their wealth and resources. Even our country is a great example of that. But instead, what these children are learning is that how Britain had conquered the world, how the white men had actually gone to save the savages, save the Africans, save the brown people of Asia, how they had actually saved the world. So you see, this is how the powerful control the narrative. If in fact they can alter how we perceive history and in fact even our present. So Britain's history is only an example that I am giving here, but that is why I'm saying that we need to be open-minded while even learning and educating ourselves about history, about our present. So it's very important that we don't look at it from a very myopic and very narrow-minded view. Even on a personal level, there's a lot of unlearning that I have to do for myself. I have to still unlearn this fact that it is okay to be not okay sometimes. I used to feel that being sad was bad, but now I have come to realize that being sad is as much important as being happy. We need to validate our emotions, because if we don't, then these negative emotions will only bottle up inside us, either turning us into bitter human beings or bursting out in a moment of desperation. Sometimes being sad or having a bad moment only teaches us to appreciate the good times. We as humans of the privileged class, the ones who have food to eat, a roof over our heads, comfort of a family and friends, we often tend to take these simple things for granted. We just assume that our next meal will be ready on our tables, even if we don't cook or even if we don't do anything. We know that our food, we just assume that the next meal will be served to us. We assume that our friend whose phone call we have not picked up in a month will be available to us whenever we need them. So all I'm saying is that we should be actually grateful for what we have, and it is okay to not be okay all the time. That is perfectly fine, and that is what we have to come to terms with, that it is okay to be not okay sometimes. I'm also trying to unlearn the fact that it is okay to be not productive all the time. In fact, I'm trying to redefine productivity in my own terms. Productivity does not need to burn you out, and productivity can also be when you are laughing and enjoying a conversation with a friend. That can actually be productive to boost your energy up, not actually only wasting time. So way back when I was in my boarding school, one Sunday afternoon, I sat down to write a letter to one of my best friends who was actually living in a different boarding school across the country. And so the whole afternoon I sat there and I wrote a letter, and I made her a beautiful greetings card. I made her a card with the pictures and colorful drawings and stuff, and I spent the whole day doing that. And at the end of the day, of course I was ready with the card, I was ready with the letter, and I showed it around. I showed the card to my few friends, and they of course said that it was cute, it was beautiful, and how pretty it was, and I felt very good. But even if I was feeling good, I said to one of my friends that, oh God, I just wasted my day making just one card the whole day. I didn't do anything productive. And she looked at me and said that you did this, right? And drawing the card, writing the letter made you feel happy. So what's there to crib about? I mean, that is as productive as your day can get. And that's when it hit me that, not only studying and playing sports to better myself is productivity. Something as simple as drawing a card can be productive if it brings me joy and if it brings me happiness, and if I feel fulfilled by that act. There are a lot of things I'm learning to unlearn. I'm learning new things about myself every day. I'm discovering myself. I'm not a perfect human being, and nor do I plan on achieving perfection. Nor am I planning to achieve perfection. I plan on achieving happiness. I'm trying to unlearn judgments about people. I am trying to unlearn bad habits. I hope we help each other to unlearn and grow. I hope we educate ourselves and to grow ourselves to be more compassionate towards each other. Life is actually a journey where we are learning and unlearning every step of the moment. And I think that's what makes us unique. That's what will actually help us to help others. I hope that together we can make this world a better place.